This is KCR, the sound of state.
Just take a nice breath in. Exhale that breath. Just allow yourself now to relax more and more. Because from this moment in time, there's nothing of importance for you to do except relax. Relax.
Hey humans, welcome to Scarlett Letter Show Season 3, Episode 2. I should really listen to the song lyrics because every time that I start, I get all, like, my voice gets all shaky because I get nervous. So, like, I should really take a breath and relax, just like my intro, but here I am. This is your host, Scarlett Santa Maria, providing a space for self-expression for San Diego's electronic music artists. If you currently have your phone or a computer handy, you can watch the live stream right now on my Facebook page. Just search for Scarlett Letter Show. I'd like to briefly tell you about last weekend. I went to a couple of cool events, Saturday actually. First, I checked out Soulworks Eden and I loved it. It had like a really fun and tropical atmosphere, and I really liked how most people stuck with the theme and wore the suggested colors. I was supposed to wear green or yellow, but I have none of that in
John's birthday party.
Yeah, it was John's birthday party. Yeah, I didn't really have any of those colors, so most of my wardrobe is black. But I was able to pull something
I'm right
together.
there with you.
Yeah, and after Eden, I went to Subdrip's Beach Bonfire to get my fix of bass music. Did you hear about it?
I actually didn't.
Oh, well, it was a lot of fun. It was like a beach bonfire with bass and yeah,
Sounds like fun.
until the cops came. But you know, we tried to make it last a long time. But the vibes were on point. I was able to catch the sunset and have some s'mores and catch some dope fire spinners who left me feeling really inspired. Like, I really want to try doing fire spinning, maybe if I get over the fear of getting burned. Lastly, on Sunday, I checked out Soleil at their new location at 10 Barrel Brewing Company, and I had the best time, honestly. Music was on point. It was a nice location with bomb drinks and food, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next one. By the way, if you want to learn more about these events and the people behind them, you can watch past interviews or listen to full shows on my YouTube channel, also named Scarlett Letter Show. I got the homies Bass Exotic from Soulwork, J. Crum from Subdrip, and Chris Herrera from Soleil there, so check them out. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. That second voice you've been hearing in the background. It's my guest of the night. Give it up for MC Ridda.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming. I know Brandon couldn't make it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brandon's stuck in LA with work, and he got stuck up there, and he won't be able to make it tonight. So I'm here representing UBB by myself.
Adulting, man.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. How are you feeling tonight?
Feeling great.
That's great.
I'm happy to be here.
Do you do anything fun last weekend?
You know, honestly, I took it easy last weekend.
Yeah.
I had a lot of family stuff and kind of just hung out.
Yeah, that's right. That's fine. So what genres do you specialize in your brand?
Well, our brand, United by Bass, specializes in a number of different things, from house to techno to drum and bass to bass music. Yeah. Pretty much we run the gamut of the spectrum of all genres of music.
That's really cool.
We try to represent, everything and kind of have it under one umbrella of, don't be a genre snob, and there's good music everywhere.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. When was the first time that you got exposed to electronic music?
Oh gosh, when I was 15 years old.
Well,
yeah, it's the first time I heard drum and bass. I'd heard electronic music.
Yeah.
But it kind of had that stigma in my head, and kind of was closed-minded about it at the time. I was young, and
yeah, you didn't really know better.
Oh, that rave EDM, and this was a while ago, and so.
Do you remember your first event that you went to ever?
Oh, it was like a San Diego underground event before electronic music was actually in the clubs and the
when
bars.
It was still at illegal warehouses or something?
I mean, back in Club Xanth back in the day, which was like a warehouse, just auto mechanic shops, Otay tunnels to Otay lakes. All kinds of stuff. So. Yeah.
So did that change your life?
It definitely did. Up until that point, I was in reggae bands.
Okay.
And so I was singing in a reggae band and, was kind of in that world and wasn't interested. And then I heard drum and bass for the first time and was captivated, and kind of, left the reggae thing behind and kind of
Evolved.
definitely.
So besides the drum and bass, which is, as I can see, your number one, what other genres of that don't include electronic music do you also enjoy?
I mean, I love music through and through. I mean, I had an older brother who kind of introduced me to a lot of music as a kid. So,
That's
anything
awesome.
from Bob Marley to NWA was playing for me when I was young. So, like I said, reggae, hip hop,
Yeah.
rock and roll to Pantera, Slayer, stuff like that. So, I mean, I love music in general.
Me too.
So,
I like a little bit of everything. Like my dad, he's really into the 80s, 70s, 90s, and he still DJs, right?
Does he?
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And then from my mom, I get like the more Mexican, like I know cumbia and banda and just salsa and all that stuff. And then from my side, like electronic and pop, and so it's like a blend of things.
I think that's important though, when it comes to music, to have different outlets, but also have different influences. You can't be closed-minded
Yeah, definitely.
and close yourself off from everything.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I value, especially right now, coming from you that throws events, that you're not like, okay, no, only this genre or this subgenre, because there's a lot of music purists out there that are like techno for life or house for life. And how about you open your mind and try some new stuff?
I agree. And, but you're going to find those purists in every genre because, I came from drum and bass where, we always kind of, you're either drum and bass or you're not.
You're all in or you're nothing.
Exactly. And so, we've kind of, Brandon and I, that was one thing that was very important to us when we started United by Bass, that we weren't closed-minded and we were accepting to all genres and make it a point to really, try to expand that way with everyone because, what we've noticed is that a lot of the people who go to the house shows go to the drum and bass shows.
Okay,
They go to,
that's great.
They cross over. And so, we have a great community here in San Diego of people who love music. So
Yeah, and then you're just willing to go to try other new genres and other events. Like even me, for example, I used to be a little bit more close-minded and, if I don't know the headliner, what's the point? But now I go to all these events and I don't know half of the artists, but I still go and have a good time and enjoy the music.
it's about the
because
curated vibe.
Yeah.
And
you have your friends and the vibe and everything's all right.
We always, we with SD Union in particular, we always called it, our SD DMB Familia, where it was, you went out because there was the headliner, but you also went out because that was your family and you get to see them.
Oh my God. Definitely the community.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you and Brandon meet?
Oh, well, through drum and bass, through music, years and years ago. We met through shows and, different parties, and through the community, we knew each other. And then, I had started SD Union and we met and we kind of talked and we basically he had been throwing shows in San Diego for a lot longer.
Oh, okay.
And so we decided to team up and, it's kind of been best friends, partners since.
Wow.
We also work in our day jobs
Hashtag
together.
Goals.
Well, I mean, we work our day jobs together too. So, I spend a lot of the time on the phone with him, more than I'd like to. But
that's
no,
a
I'm
beautiful
just joking.
friendship. That's awesome. Was there a defining moment in your life or something that changed your mind or made you realize that you wanted to continue this journey in the music industry, that you wanted to get involved?
I think it's because we love the music so much. We get asked all the time, especially with the drum and bass shows. I tell people all the time, like, if we were in it for the money and to have a job, I would have left a long time ago. We love this music,
I hear that a lot.
we've it's kind of an addiction in a sense. Brandon and I joke, like, oh, it's gonna be the last one, and then we start planning the next 5. So it's kind of tough. But yeah, for me, the defining moment really would just kind of been, I think it was the first time I went to Audiotistic.
Oh, nice.
Years and years ago. That was before EDC was even big. EDC was, the small rave. But Audiotistic back in the day when hip hop was one of the biggest stages there. And I just saw how a festival could bring a community together of like-minded individuals and of just, how music could just change everything.
It does.
So I guess that would be one of the defining moments for me. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I agree. I mean, I remember my first event ever or my first EDC, and it was a life-changing experience. And I thought, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep working in this industry. And I've been doing this for a long time, actually. I started my DJing business when I was 16 with my dad.
Nice.
So
well, you mentioned your dad's still DJing.
Yeah, he still DJs, actually. I still do it too, but not as often. I feel that I've been doing it for 8 years. So I'm kind of leaning towards other stuff.
Send me a mix.
Everyone always says that, come on, send me something. I'm like, no. I've never actually DJed for like a club or something. It's always been like commercial parties, like weddings, quinceañeras and stuff. So
Quinces.
I know they party hard. Okay. All right. So do you? What else? I was gonna ask something else. Oh, what do you think about? Okay, so you mentioned that you have your day job, right?
Correct.
And then you do this on the side. And I think that a lot of my guests usually have like a day job or like a quote unquote serious job, and then they do that on the side. So do you think it's mostly because of lack of money that is there to be made, or is it also because you're also passionate about your other job?
It's tough. It's kind of a double-edged sword where, there isn't a lot of money to be made, but there is. I mean, some companies have been successful. You look at LED and Cross, what they were able to accomplish here in San Diego. But I think for a lot of the promoters and a lot of the people here in San Diego, especially, like you said, we're a smaller community. We're so close to LA, but so small in comparison.
Yeah.
And it's tougher for scenes to thrive here, I think. But I think at this point, San Diego's the strongest I've ever seen it. I mean, you look at this Friday, there's, I think 8 shows going on.
Yeah.
So
it's changed so much. Even in this past couple of years or 3 years when I started barely getting like in the underground scene, now I see all these events happening like all week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And
San Diego's like that now. If you want to go dance on any particular night of the week, you're going to be able to find somewhere at this point.
You got it. So what can I expect in the first part of the first mix?
So this first mix is sent to us by Cyrus Hood, who will be playing for us next Friday at Spin.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. So he's going to be coming to town. He provided us this mix. It was from one of his recent gigs. And so, yeah.
All right, awesome. So we're ready to hear this mix. We'll see you all in 10 minutes for the second part of the interview, so don't go anywhere. And by the way, you're listening to KCR College Radio, the award-winning sound of state. Woo. The vibes. Oh my god. Super bouncy, super fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for next Friday. That should be a good time.
Yeah, is it a night event or?
Yeah, it's at Club Spin next Friday.
Oh my god.
June 21st. We have Cyrus Hood performing,
yes.
who you just heard.
He's
on Dirty Bird. He's coming in from France. And then in support, we have one of our residents, Evlo, who...
Evlo, yeah. He was here with Chris.
Mm-hmm. He actually is, he's come up throughout United by Bass, and now he's actually one of the heads of our house department.
That's
in
so cool.
United by Bass. I actually tried to get him to come when Brandon told me he couldn't make it, but he couldn't make it as well. So
Damn.
Shout out to Eve.
Yeah, he's a homie.
Oh, I
he's
love
a
him.
cool guy.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite people. But yeah, he's playing, and then we have Oren from Kino Village. And then we have Steadicam from the Front Left production crew.
You're stacked.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
All right, so don't miss out, people.
Yeah.
So we're back. I hope you enjoyed the mix as much as we did. It was really good. And now it's a good time to watch the live stream if you haven't already tuned in. Look up Scarlett Letter Show on Facebook and you can see our faces right now. We got all ready for y'all. But before I continue with the interview, I have to do some announcements. Fan of podcasts, make sure to tune in on KCR On Demand, the newest platform of entertainment for your radio hosts here at SDSU. Find us on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud at KCR College Radio. Also, North Parks Observatory is an amazing venue that you can win tickets to. So make sure to stay connected with us in social media to hear all about our ticket giveaways at KCR College Radio or via kcrlive.com. Yeah. Now that I got out of the way, I like to shift my focus on your brand, United by Bass. What kind of influences or experiences drove you to create it?
I mean, just years of going to shows in San Diego and Southern California. Kind of growing up through the SoCal rave scene that kind of shaped the rest of the U.S. in my opinion. You look at Insomniac and what they've done.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, obviously they're huge inspirations as far as, what you can accomplish with this.
Started from the bottom, now they're
yeah. But I mean, I guess for us, it was just about, creating memorable experiences for San Diego and for people who, are like-minded and who like what we bring to the table, I guess. Yeah. So.
But how did you come up with it? Was it you and Brandon that came up, or was it like a big team? Like, you know what? We're going to make this event. We're just going to do it.
Well, I mean, Brandon and I had been partners with our other partner, Eric Yo, with SD Union for a few years. And, we had talked about, kind of diving back into the house and techno and multi-genre stuff, because that's where Brandon had come from originally with his events back in, the early 2000s, that time. And so we kind of decided, let's do something that we can have as an umbrella to all of our events. So we came up with United by Bass.
Yeah.
Kind of our slogan is, we are United by Bass, are you? And it's kind of a allude to,
are you? I am united.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just kind of, we're all united under the fact that we all love
music,
electronic music.
Yes,
too.
Electronic music specifically.
And so that was kind of our thing. And so, Eric, myself, and Brandon, we all kind of came together and thought of like what we wanted to, bring to San Diego. And that's when we started UBB Presents, which is kind of like our house and techno events. We have We Love Bass, which is focused on our, multi-genre. So you'll find everything there. And then SD Union, which is one of our staples, is, San Diego's biggest drum and bass event. So, that's kind of, and then, United by Bass is the umbrella to all that. So.
Yes. And what is your mission statement for United by Bass?
Oh gosh. I mean, I kind of just said it as far as, like
kind of bringing it everyone together,
all under one roof, one community, each one teach one. And, it's all love at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Love for music, love for each other, love for our community.
I agree. But when I think of bass music, what usually comes to mind will be, of course, drum and bass and trap and dubstep. But you also cover house and techno, even though with the name it's United by Bass. Have you guys ever gotten any criticism because your brand isn't strictly bass or something like that?
You'll get that one or two trolls on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, who've got snide comments. But at the end of the day, really, we don't get too much anything about like down that. For the most part, we've gotten an immense amount of support from the community.
That's great.
And, we've made it a point to really try to work with all the other promoters in town and make sure that, that we all kind of stay in communication as best as we can. It's hard to sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
But, we did get a little bit backlash, from the drum and bass scene. Oh, you guys are, going to do this. And it's,
like you were saying earlier, it's like you're in completely or you're not.
Yeah. And, you had that mentality a few years ago, but I think a lot has changed. As we talked about earlier, where, you're seeing a lot more of the crossover crowd where people are going to all sorts of events. So you're not seeing that real, like, die hard. It's only this.
It's only a few haters out there.
Yeah.
Just be open. And so I want to ask you more about SD Union. How did that brand originated? And where did the vision come from for SD Union?
Well, SD Union started in 2010. It was kind of when dubstep was really crushing everything in America.
Yeah, I remember when Skrillex was
It
blowing up.
it was, I mean, dubstep was the, you know,
It was, yep.
and so we watched the drum and bass community really kind of like suffer and kind of die out, and you're seeing the shows kind of ending, and so we saw a lull, and you know, I was kind of tired of it not drum and bass not being there, so you know, I took it upon myself to kind of start SD Union. And we started at the Ruby Room, which is now the Marrow in Hillcrest.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know, I started it, and then after about half a year, Brandon came in, and then Eric came in as well. And so the three of us kind of really grew SD Union from, you know, being, 15 people listening to drum bass in the Marrow to, you know, having a packed house at Spin.
Yeah,
So-
and it takes time, right? It takes a really long time to build something.
Hence, we're celebrating our 9-year anniversary in August.
Woo!
So
That's
yeah.
amazing. So I want to mention how house and techno dominate the underground scene, right? Mostly in San Diego.
Yeah.
Do you find it more difficult to bring people to your drum and bass events, or does the scarcity of bass shows work on your favor?
I think we've done a pretty great job of making sure that we keep our customers happy, and so that they keep coming back, and our attendees, you know, spread the word, and you know, marketing's being a big part of it too. You know, you realize that there's a lot of people in San Diego that actually love drum and bass, but don't even know that there's events
Yeah.
half the time. You know, you really, in the last 5 years especially, you really have to concentrate marketing everywhere.
Yeah.
Because, you know, someone's
And
just
then-
on Facebook, or they're just on Twitter, or just on Instagram. So
And then
it's,
you also have to reach out to new audiences that have never heard drum and bass before, and all the new generations and old and everyone.
you mean
really.
that fast dubstep. That's what you get for the
Yeah,
younger
I mean,
people.
like, how do you even manage to have a successful event and reach out to all these different target audiences?
Each one teach one. It's all about our
I think word
attendees.
of mouth is like the one that
Yes.
has the biggest impact. Would you say?
I would say that. I think you know, electronic music, rave culture, as it is, you know, with EDC being so basically just normal day now,
Mhm.
you know, it's people are being exposed to drum and bass much earlier, and are being more accepted to, you know, more successful. I mean, not successful, but accepting to it, because you know, it's on the spectrum of these big stages that
Yeah.
they're going to.
That's what I love about EDC, that you have 7 stages with all different types of music. You have hardstyle, like trance and
Mhm.
dubstep and drum and bass and everything. So it really helps other people get exposed to all those different genres and get out of the main stage, you know?
Oh, I agree. You know, I talked to a lot of people at our drum and bass shows, and I asked them, you know, how did you find out about
Yeah.
our show, or B, you know, how did you come to liking drum and bass? And you know, you get a lot of responses that come along the lines of, you know, I stumbled into the drum and bass room one time at the rave and never left, type of
Yeah,
thing. You
there
know,
you go.
you get that type of answer. You know, as much as it hurt our scene, dubstep really helped our scene. It crushed us, and it really squashed drum and bass, and you know, everyone was really into dubstep and the bass music. But what dubstep did at that time was bring a whole new generation of ravers
Mhm.
into the scene. And you know, a lot of the scene, from anywhere from house to techno, drum and bass, and all of it, weren't doing themselves any justice, because it was kind of the old guard holding on and not letting the new guard come in and the younger people play. And so you're not going to get that younger crowd coming in that way.
Yeah, of
So-
course. You got to give people a chance.
Of course. I mean, I was given a chance when I was younger, and so it's that type of situation that you want to give back, and you know, want to try to book anyone that's willing and is hungry, and you know, has a passion for it.
Yeah, that's the key word, passion.
Passion.
Definitely. I would like to know more about We Love Bass. How did you come up with the concept for this event?
We Love Bass was actually a concept of Eric Yo, our business partner, who actually lives in Oregon. He came to me years ago with an idea of, you know, a multi-genre party all under one roof at Spin. And, you know, you book, you know, a dubstep act, a drum and bass act, you know, house act, and you put it all under one roof, you know, one big stage, not different stages. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of where it started. And then, you know, once we all started United by Bass, it kind of morphed into more of like a full-blown multi-genre party. You know, we did multi-stages, 3 stages at the World Beat Center a couple years ago. And then, you know, we've kind of taken it into more of an intimate vibe in this last year and kind of put it at the hole in the wall and, you know, again, put everyone on one stage. So and it's been really fun.
Well, it's fun. That's where I've been to more shows that where they have like breaks and drum and bass, like with the Prism event, for example. But they're not as talked about as the events at Blonde or Spin, you know?
Well, I mean, that's there's kind of a reason, I guess, but house and techno are king here. You know, it's hence this Friday again. There's 5 shows, and they're all going to probably do well because there's a lot of people who are into this music and love it. Yeah. Whereas with the bass music and drum and bass in particular, it's more of a niche, smaller genre.
Extra niche.
Yeah,
because I feel like house and techno, it's already niche, but when you think about drum and bass, it's like even more. It's like a layer more. Mm-hmm. But it's good that you guys are bringing the sound.
Listen. We love drum and bass. Again, if we were into, you know, music for the money, we would have left a long time ago.
Yeah, like you said earlier.
I love drum and bass, and you know, we have a saying where it's, you know, we love SD, we love DMB, we love SD DMB, and you know, we're very thankful for our community and the support that they've given us and showed for SD Union over the years, which has helped it grow, you know, and the word is spread, and you know, now we have people coming down from LA for our events.
There you go. That's amazing. There you go. You're doing great things.
Thank you.
So, what is the most challenging aspect about throwing events in San Diego?
I mean, I think there's a few different factors that are challenging. I think, you know, again, competition can be, you know, tough. I think logistics in some sort of situations get tough. I think being so close in proximity to LA, agents and management tend to think that the fees should be the same as playing in LA, which is, you know, can be tough. Whereas, you know, you're talking a much smaller crowd. I just think throwing an event in general, every aspect of it is the tough part. I don't think a lot of attendees really have an idea as to how much goes into an event.
Yeah, well, this is a space to tell them how it is. Because, like, you're right. And this is why I wanted to create this space, because people see the DJ or, like, the person that's throwing events, and they just think, like, oh, yeah, it must be so easy. You know, I want to throw my own event, and it's just so much fun. But they don't know what happens behind the scenes, all the hard work, all the time and sweat and tears put into it.
Oh, you're 100% correct. And you know, I do want to shout out all the promoters in San Diego and anyone who throws shows, because, you know, these people get a lot of hate because, you know, promoters tend to have thought of as greedy or as whatnot, but a lot of people don't realize that most promoters are running in the red or just breaking even, you know.
I've been a promoter before. It's not easy.
You know, for years we call it burrito money. And we would always make a joke because, you know, we spent a lot of money one time, and one time.
Many times.
But we had Qbert play, legendary turntablist DJ, and cost us a very large amount of money. And we ended up, you know, making about $7 on the show, like profit.
Yeah.
And we called it burrito money. We had enough to go get a burrito. And it was kind of like our running gag where it's like, you know, if we make enough to get a burrito at the end of the night, we're happy.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're happy regardless. You know, Brandon and I talk about it all the time. Like, one of our favorite things is when we're standing on stage at Spin, you know, you're behind the DJ and you're kind of looking out at the crowd, and you see everyone, all the smiles, and, you know, everyone losing themselves in the music. And that's kind of like one of those things that keeps us really going. You know,
and that was actually going to be my next question. Like, what drives you guys to continue on this journey besides the challenges? And would you say it's that rewarding feeling of seeing all these people happy on the dance floor?
100%. I think there's a certain sense of, you know, you get as a promoter, well, personally speaking, I feel that a lot of satisfaction on my end comes from seeing all of our attendees really enjoying themselves, you know, coming back and bringing new friends because they enjoyed themselves so much, being a part of our community and being a part of, you know, the conversation and volunteering and whatnot with us. And that's the type of stuff that really keeps it going for me. The performing's one thing, but it's really just, we've built something and we're proud of it. We love it. And we love this
an
music.
act of love.
100%.
That's beautiful. And I agree with the feeling. Tell me about your collaboration with Stay Bad and your Stay United event. That name just worked out perfectly, by the way. How did it all begin?
Shane, who's part of Stay Bad.
I had them here actually before Johnny or Jake and Shane.
So, Shane and I, every time we do an event at Spin, because I do all the camera work for our streams and our YouTube page. And so him and I spend a lot of time together in the back because he does all the lighting and sound for the club. Mm-hmm. And so one night we were talking, we'd been talking and running ideas back and forth, but we kept saying that we should team up and that the crew should team up and do a show.
Yeah, it's like, let's do it.
And so I kind of threw it out there and we were just making jokes. And I was like, well, why don't we call it Stay United? We're bringing brands together. It's Flatline, Stay Bad, ourselves. Let's call it Stay United. And it's really showing the community that, hey, these crews can work together and that, there's no love lost. We love Stay Bad. We love Flatline. Yeah, we love all these guys.
They're the homies for sure.
We love the partnership that we've created with them. We think Stay United is a great brand. And, everyone's been really enjoying themselves coming to those events. The production's been top notch. The robot keeps growing, getting bigger and bigger. So it's
and I was gonna say I saw pictures of the last event. That spaceship looked amazing. Who did that? Who came up with that?
Well, so Brandon, who unfortunately couldn't be here, he's in charge of our production department, and so he and the Stay Bad guys kind of came up with the concept for the robot. And
it is a robot. I thought it was a spaceship.
No, it's a giant robot.
Oh, okay.
And so if you look at the last flyer, the audio jack flyer, the robot that's on the flyer is kind of, that's what that is.
Okay.
And
I got it wrong. Sorry,
no, you're fine. You're not the only one.
Okay.
So it's kind of the first one. It was smaller, and the second one with audio jack, it's morphed and getting bigger. And that's kind of the whole idea is that every time you're going to come to one of these events, the production's going to grow and get bigger and change and not just be the same thing over and over.
That's exciting.
Well, and that's something that, give Brandon and our team credit, United by Bass, is that ever since we came to Spin that's about 4 years ago, mm-hmm. we were challenged by Brando and Brandon, the guys who run Spin, to kind of like step it up. Let's not just, put turntables in the booth and, have a DJ spin it. Any promoter can do that. Do something different.
Step out of the box.
Yeah.
Add some imagination.
Well, and that's where we really started stepping up our production. And, our first event with Spin was a Comic-Con event. It was an SD Union. We had Planet of the Drums, which is a really huge, legendary U.S. drum and bass act, come through. They hadn't been in town for like 6 years. But what we did was we turned the club into a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Whoa.
And for anyone who's out there who's old enough who's seen the movie or might have actually seen the movie, but Mad Max escaped the Thunderdome. We built the Thunderdome over the DJ booth.
Wow.
And so, you walked in and you thought you were in another world. It was amazing.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have been there to experience it. But talking about collaboration, I want to come back to that topic really quick. A common challenge that I've heard from other artists that I've had here is the competitiveness in the community and the lack of collaboration between brands. So it's great that you guys are uniting forces, you and Stay Bad. What are some necessary elements to make a collaboration work?
Open communication. I think everyone being on the same page, agreeing to what they're going to follow through on, and, just kind of everyone being in agreement on the plan moving forward. I think that, to what you said, there is a lot of competition, and, there can be some, Sandy Ego comes in.
Sandy Ego. Oh my God. That was good.
But I think as long as you treat people how you want to be treated, and, you realize that the people that you're working with, you have to trust them and let them trust you. And that's the most important thing. And that's what we love about working with the Stay Bad and Flatline guys, is that, it's constant communication. It's, everyone has their idea. No idea is dumb. Nothing is,
That's
off
great.
the table. So it's great. And I think just everyone being on the same page is probably the most important factor.
Yeah, it's fantastic that it works out sometimes that way. That you collaborate with like-minded individuals that are considerate of each other's times and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important. So thank you for that. And now I have some questions for you individually.
Okay.
So, Mr. MC Ridda, I saw on your resident advisor profile that you are the best hype man in San Diego. Can you show me what you got right now? Can you hype it up really quick?
Oh, no, not right
No,
now.
are you too much on the spot? You're like, no, I need to be in a
You give me a few shots of tequila, then maybe.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now we know he can't do it on the spot. He has to be like the right environment and some tequila. All right. Well, I tried. I guess I gotta go to a show to see you do it live.
July 19th, our Comic-Con event, SD Union.
And how do you get into MCing?
Oof. For me, I can't say how everyone gets into it, but for me personally, I was in reggae bands,
Mm-hmm.
and I was singing in a reggae band, and I had a DJ who I went to high school with, walk up to me and basically say, "Hey, you sing really fast. You should try emceeing to drum and bass." And I hadn't heard of it yet, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Is that rave, acid, ecstasy stuff? Like, what are you talking about?" No. And then
That's not me.
I literally 4 days later, someone pops a tape in front of me and they say, "Listen to this." And I'm like, "Whoa, what is this?" And somebody, they're like, "Oh, this is drum and bass." And there was an MC on it. And all I remember is, hearing, "Everybody move your body, move it plenty. Sabada, 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 in your body, body." And I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" It's like reggae influenced and, and whatnot. And, the friends like, "That's drum and bass."
Out.
I literally called that DJ that same day and I was like, "I'm sorry. I want to come over and I want to try this emceeing thing.
Oh my God.
Let's do that." And I mean, that was almost 20 years ago. So
And here you are, still going strong.
still emceeing.
The
Yeah.
best hype man of San Diego, y'all. You heard it here. That's fantastic. So, and you're originally from Hawaii.
Born and raised. Yeah.
So
So I was
why-
about 15.
Why did you move to San Diego?
Well, it was out of my hands, really.
Your parents?
It was
Same here.
Yeah,
Same here.
It was Hawaii became increasingly unaffordable for a single mom raising two kids. So we were actually going to move to Oregon, and then she came to San Diego for a high school reunion and fell in love with San Diego again. So we ended up here, thankfully.
I know, same. I moved here when I was 12 from TJ because my dad worked here and he got tired of crossing the border every day. And I'm so glad I'm here. Honestly, I
love
couldn't
San Diego.
imagine what I would be if I still lived in Tijuana, even though it's 30 minutes away.
No, I mean, I think about it. If I'd moved to Oregon, would I have ever found drum and bass like I did?
Probably
or
not.
electronic music, or, how different would my life be? So I love San Diego. It's
too.
I love this town.
And speaking of the great things of San Diego, what are your thoughts really quickly about the San Diego electronic music community? You can start with positives and then anything that needs improvement, in your opinion.
I think the positives is that we have a strong scene. There's a lot of people going out to events. You have a lot of promoters that are throwing very quality events, and giving people a space to dance every night of the week is something that 10, 15 years ago you didn't have here. I mean, you were waiting months for a show, and if you were lucky, you got a few shows a month. So again, a big shout out to all the promoters in town who work really hard, and it's
Definitely.
I think one of the negative things, but I don't necessarily think it's a negative thing. I think a lot of people let it get to them, but of the competition that you spoke of,
Yes.
is, there's a lot going on. So it's easy to get discouraged while doing it. I'm luckier, whereas with the drum and bass events, there's not a lot of events going on. So we're lucky in that aspect, but with the house and techno, you really have to be more selective. And I think that's where, the open communication of promoters talking about their events is really helpful. And, just in this last year, a chat was started on Facebook with all of the promoters, and, it's been tried before, didn't work, but this one's kind of worked more, I think, because I think just people are realizing that why not be open to communication?
Exactly.
It's going to help my event more if if we communicate.
We're already such a small community. Why not help each other, right?
I agree.
All right, and last question before we go on the second mix. What advice would you give someone that is trying to throw events or get more involved in the industry?
I would say volunteer. Volunteer. Ask your favorite crew if you can help them, if you can volunteer with them, and learn. Because I think just trying to throw an event with no experience, you're really bound to set yourself up to fail. It's really hard. What you come to terms with here in San Diego, especially, is that you need the rest of the community too. It's like you have to rent gear from here. You have to, ask this guy to help you in this way, and it's just
establishing good connections.
And that's what it is, and it's being reliable on your word too. And being good on your word. If you say you're gonna help someone do something, do it.
And then flake last minute. Yeah, you're setting yourself up for failure right there.
Yeah, again, there's not a lot of money in the scene, and it's hard. Big shout out to our entire United by Bass team. These guys work so hard for us, and they are just grinding with whether it's promotion, production, just driving talent every which way, for an entire month leading up to an event. They're all working on this event, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is, the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. So
definitely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all this. It's all vital information for everyone that has ever attended your event. They can watch this and then appreciate it a little more.
I hope so. And again, I appreciate them, all of our attendees for their support and for coming out.
Yeah, so exciting. And I think now it's time for a treat of drum and bass.
Yeah, this is our new podcast. We just launched our new podcast network. It's the UBB Network. You can find us on Apple, Google Play, Spotify, and this is the most recent release. It's SoCal Sessions Volume 9 with Ghost MD.
Ooh, super exciting. Here we go. We're going to be back in less than 10 minutes to wrap up this interview with just one more question and some extra shout outs. So see you in a bit.
Big up.
Running in circles, losing my mind. You got my heart in overdrive. Change your perception, no longer blind. I see it in your eyes, a beautiful light. Waiting for something, give me a
God, this makes it sick.
Yeah, Ghost knocked it out of the park on that one.
Yeah, it's like completely different, and that's what it's all about. Just experiencing all the genres. All right,
That's what United by Bass is about.
Yes. What does the future hold for United by Bass and MC Ridda?
Well, for United by Bass, I hope it is nothing but, just the events getting bigger and the community growing and our team growing and just kind of, just working with everyone that wants to work with us, and that, I guess each one teach one, treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, definitely. Any last shout outs or anything that you want your fans to know? The last thing.
Well, shout out to everyone in the chat on the live stream. I see you guys. Big up. Big up to the United by Bass crew. Big up to my SD Union family, all of my San Diego crews, all the promoters. Let's see. Make sure to follow, subscribe on Facebook, Instagram. Go to our YouTube page if you want to check out sets from all of our events. They're all up there. Check out the new podcast network, the UBB network, on Apple and all streaming services.
Awesome. Fantastic. I appreciate all of you who tuned in tonight. And as usual, I will upload the full show and interviews soon on my YouTube channel. And I'll post all the links there for United by Bass and SD Union and everything that you need to know. I hope you all enjoyed the show. See you next Thursday. Peace.
Peace.